Hey, what's up, guys? So, how crazy is this? Conor McGregor submitted his paperwork to USADA a week ago, and you have to be in USADA for 6 months in order to fight. Next thing you know, UFC is separating from USADA. Now, is this just a coincidence or is there a connection? Because some people would say, okay, the UFC wants Conor to fight sooner than USADA will allow him to, so UFC is just going to part ways with USADA to cash in on a Conor McGregor fight sooner. Now, this is just 100% hypothetical. Who knows what the facts are? But Ariel Helwani did release some statements from USADA themselves. He tweets out, USADA has just announced that their business relationship with the UFC will come to an end December 31st. Furthermore, USADA CEO Travis Tygart issued a pretty scathing press release on the end of an often complicated, almost decade-long relationship. So let's get to USADA's response. This article says McGregor re-enters the USADA testing pool in UFC and USADA end anti-doping program agreement. Statement from USADA CEO Travis T. Tygart. So this is Colorado Springs, October 11th, 2023. He says, we can confirm that Conor McGregor has re-entered the USADA testing pool as of Sunday, October 8th, 2023. We have been clear and firm with the UFC that there should be no exception given by the UFC for McGregor to fight until he has returned 2 negative tests and been in the pool for at least 6 months. The rules also allow USADA to keep someone in the testing pool longer before competing based on their declarations upon entry in the pool and testing results. Unfortunately, we do not currently know whether the UFC will ultimately honor the 6-month or longer requirement because as of January 1st, 2024, USADA will no longer be involved with the UFC anti-doping program. Despite a positive and productive meeting about a contract renewal in May 2023, the UFC did an about-face and informed USADA on Monday, October 9th, that it was going in a different direction. We are disappointed for UFC athletes who are independent contractors who rely on our independent, gold standard global program to protect their rights to a clean, safe, and fair octagon. The UFC's move imperils the immense progress made within the sport under USADA's leadership. The relationship between USADA and UFC became untenable given the statements made by UFC leaders and others questioning USADA's principled stance that McGregor not be allowed to fight without being in the testing pool for at least 6 months. One UFC commentator echoed this, recently declaring that USADA should not oversee the UFC program since we held firm to the 6-month rule involving McGregor, and since we do not allow fighters without an approved medical basis to use performance-enhancing drugs like experimental unapproved peptides or testosterone for healing or injuries simply to get back in the octagon. Fighters' long-term health and safety, in addition to a fair and level playing field, are more important to USADA than short-term profits at the expense of clean athletes. USADA is proud of the work we've done over the past 8 years to clean up the UFC, and we will continue to provide our unparalleled service to UFC athletes through the remainder of our current contract, which ends December 31st, 2023. As always, we will continue to uphold the rights and voices of clean athletes in all sports. It kind of sounds like Conor McGregor was the tipping point in the relationship between USADA and the UFC. It sounds like they wanted McGregor to fight sooner than 6 months, but USADA wasn't having it, and UFC decided to part ways. And if that is the case, man, Conor McGregor has some crazy influence to have UFC make that decision, but tell me what you guys think about all this stuff in the comments below. Do you think there's a connection or do you think it's just a coincidence?